Here.
John Alexander.
Here.
Steve Romano.
Present.
Everybody get the minutes for
Yes.
last meeting? Any questions?
Make a motion to accept the minutes from.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, board reports. Start with you, Steve.
Nothing new, just, a lot of rains, stopping everything, all the activities, but no news from the tennis or skateboarding, all good.
Tennis courts, only because I did I sat in, and this would just be good in the breakfast, or excuse me, coffee with city manager. Questions about how we're at, looking for materials, right? There was shades and then also some court material, right?
Well, the shades was the thing that was holding everything up because the shades have to go into the ground. So until they do that, they can't move on with the courts. But they're supposed to be shipped the end of this month, we were told. So they're coming. They're going to be here. They should be here
Sometime.
sometime early October, and then they'll continue to finish with the courts. Yeah.
Would that be the poles for the
Yes,
shades?
the poles have to go into the ground
Right,
first.
that makes
They
sense.
can't- they can't finish the courts until,
Yeah.
and there was a back order.
Okay, so just the shades, there's not court material or
It's the
anything like that
shades.
we're waiting.
That's what's holding everything up, yeah.
And then obviously
Where
weather.
were the shades?
In the middle of the court and at the ends,
Oh, okay.
both sides, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was what brought up there, and then, no, let's go. John.
All right.
Oh, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. If you've been by the Bicentennial Park lately, you know that it's about that far from the top of the dock right now in the water. So we'll probably be underwater within 2 days out there. There's no drainage out there right now. Everything is pretty much just standing still. And as far as the other parks, not that I know of any problems. Are there any other issues that we need to discuss?
Maritime, we're doing that
Yeah,
cleanup
they're
there,
doing-
right?
Yeah, they're doing the, what do you call it? What do you call those things? The willows, I think you call them. They're in the water, those
Oh.
things, what's it called? I forget the name.
Foxtails?
Whatever, there's something like that. They're
Cactus.
clearing
Them
those
out.
Yeah, they're clearing those.
Because they get through the season and now they're all
It's a-
kind
it's a
of, they're
grant
drying
that
out.
She has, and we're also gonna be doing that on the golf course too.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
that's good.
That's coming in too,
Good.
yes.
Do you know what's going on at Lori Wilson Park there with that heavy equipment in there?
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
No.
Nobody knows. It's a secret, I guess.
I think they're running utilities, is what it looked
Is
like.
that what it looked like?
Yeah, I'll find out.
Right?
That's it?
Adopt a parks? I just want we were talking about getting to the point where we get back, or
We will,
Oh, yeah.
as soon as we calm down with the rain,
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
we'll be back.
Okay,
Yep.
Tim?
Well, everybody knows the golf course has been closed for 3 weeks. Although Courtney and I played twice this weekend.
Dolphin.
Played Dolphin. And it's in pretty good shape, considering. Lake's open today, and that'll be it probably.
I would say they can't,
And
any
we'll close
rain,
up.
any rain
If we
will
get
close, right?
Any rain and we're done, I think, yeah.
Yeah, they hadn't
And-
mowed the course since for a week.
And also, we've got an emergency meeting tomorrow, commission meeting, first
I
thing
saw
in the
that
morning,
post.
just to,
The governor declared an emergency, state emergency, so
right,
we're
and
policy.
so will we, and that's kind of what's going on with that. And, yeah, so everybody should probably try to watch that if you can. Tomorrow morning. I'll put it out there on Facebook that I really think of all the folks that are running for office should be at that meeting. It's gonna be a short meeting, but then they can come over here and have lunch, breakfast,
Yes, they can.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Support the 19th hole.
Absolutely. So, we'll throw that out there.
What's the channel that comes up live on?
YouTube now.
It doesn't come up on Spectrum anymore.
Oh, it doesn't?
It's YouTube, and they have it on the website.
Okay.
They have the link. They've done a great job.
What time does that mean?
Keeping it live.
9
o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay.
Hey, you wanna do that, Steve?
I'll put something out there, yeah.
Okay.
Online.
Thank you.
Call them out.
Call them out.
Yep. I'm done.
I just want, because a lot of discussion over that part of the golf course. If the golf course is, at end of year, almost every year without fail, the golf course, because it's busy, does well financially. everybody always wants to say, you know, they made a profit, where does the profit pay for, and where it goes to the general fund, and then it gets used as needed. But when the golf course closes for like, and it happens every couple of years, you'll get a period of time where you're gonna get rain, or we get a tropical storm or a hurricane and it knocks down. Is the flooding problem at the golf course something that an engineering study is required to do anything about excess water in some spots? And it's obviously not that entire golf course is flooded. It's like River 3 now has a lake out there that is a suspect low spot, but I can't get, I mean, I would never be able to guess and say, yeah, I could fill that in, but I'd just push water somewhere where it didn't belong again. Have we ever done or thought of an engineering study that would look at all that of if we had fill or whatever to stop? Because the reason I ask, Laird, is people will say, well, I'm golfing so-and-so and they're open. And it's like, well, they're a different course. I get it. And they may not have had the rain, but I just want to kind of put that out there is if that were the case, is there ever an engineering study ever been done or thought about being done to make the ponds deeper, make drainage better so we can keep one course open or not? You know?
I know that in a couple of months ago, we had our engineer come out here because we were having the same problem at that time. And I mean, he looked at it, and he said, you know, our biggest problem is the water table. Our water table and the river were the same height. So, I mean, we would have to go up about, in some spots, maybe like over 3 feet to get the drainage. So it can be done, but it's a money thing that, you know.
So we basically in those high spots,
Yeah.
to fill them, you'd have to go way up.
Yes, you have
But
to
what
go
about
up,
to
yes.
move water? I mean, remember
Move it.
before Jim left, we had talked about the driving range. Maybe what could we do to get, because the driving range closes almost with any rain because
Yes.
you can't retrieve the balls. And there was that little discussion of floating. I think this Savannah's has it, right? The floating
Floating balls.
balls or whatever they do there. I mean, have we looked or should we think about that to use that as a place to make a new lake to put water or to move water, and then it keeps the driving range open, which helps keep the 19th hole busy, etc. Is there any talk or have we thought about that?
I know there has been some talk, but it hasn't gone very far.
Not far
There has
yet?
been some talk, yes.
But it, like I say again, because the golf course is going to do relatively well year over year on a financial number, so it kind of gets people. You know, my statement is it won't get noticed because we still do the same that we do on the golf course, but can it be fixed a little bit to stop that or to help the 19th hole at least have business? You know, if you got a whole driving range open all the time, those people will come into the 19th hole. They know the golf course is closed, but they still want to come hit balls, and then you know most people would come hit balls, go in the driving range for a little bit, or in the 19th hole for a little bit. That would be one of my suggestions is if we could look for a way to benefit both, keep the driving range open, use some of that for the water. And the only one I've ever heard of, and I didn't know it was a possibility, was make that a pond and make those balls, you know, float and retrieve with that. I don't know if that's the ideal or not, but
I'll bring it up again.
I was just,
I think an engineer would have to tell you how that all works too. So.
You know, talked to the previous city manager, talked to Wayne Caragino about it, and and they're kind of on board of dredging those ponds and getting money from the Indian River Lagoon sales tax because
Runoff.
it's runoff. It's coming from our water treatment facility, and it snakes through the golf course and eventually goes out into the river. But after it's done naturally percolating, you know, in the ground. And if you were to dredge all those ponds, pull that muck up, could be fill in some areas. There are other areas. This is a huge course, and there are areas between holes, like on lakes 4 and 7. So the par 4 and then the par 3 coming back, number 7. There's a big area over there that could be a swale. Another area would be by lakes 9, between lakes 9 and lakes 1, right at the corner there, actually by 1, 2, 8, and 9, right where that little gazebo is. But just to the south of that whole area, you know, instead of, a lot of folks just cut through the grass instead of going around, you know, if they're, that could be a swell, you know, for water to collect there and run off into
slowly into
lower
the pond.
areas. And they're so far off the beaten path it should be a penalty if your ball goes in there. It's not really, there's a lot of places that aren't in play, that, you know, something, I would think something like that could be done, a little swale or, you know, do it also on number 4, between 4 and 6
Which goes.
lakes. There's just a
Oh,
lot of
that big
area there
long area.
between number 5 tee box and the green for number 6. I mean, there's a lot of space out there that something like that could be done. I would think, I mean,
It takes it would take, one is the funds, but if we are creating excess runoff into the lagoon and we can stop that and help some of that,
Yeah.
that's where Wayne comes in handy on
Possibly,
that to find
yeah.
out if that meets that criteria.
the other thing
And then two is you have to find somebody that can
the
design
connections
it.
between the ponds probably need to be looked at. All the pipes that connect them all.
Are they flowing
If they're
forward?
only a foot or 2 foot, how much of it is
Filled in.
just clogged up? Do we need to redo some of that or look into cleaning those out or?
I'll talk to Wayne and see if there's anything he can help with.
Because it just seems like it's been way too long
Yeah.
that the course,
Yeah.
an exceptional amount of time. You've played here for a long time. It seems like this is the longest I've.
This is up there. This is
Yeah.
definitely up there.
Yeah.
Time that's been closed. Yeah.
And we put in the new retaining wall a few years back. Did that slow down the amount of water that went out into the river and cause it to slowly? So in other words, we're taking longer to get it off the golf course because we're blocking it in. It's not going out. It's not going out through the edges as fast anymore with doing that. Do we, by doing one thing, did we do another that we didn't realize until now, or we haven't seen it until now? As the last couple of years have we noticed these closures being longer and bigger and the water staying?
No, I don't know. That's a good question.
Again, Wayne's a good point to put that on. But I mean, for the financing in the project. But again, I don't know how
we've
you.
got an
study
engineer
it.
too
Yeah,
that maybe can look at that.
these are just questions that I thought maybe we need to ask ourselves
I'll
and say,
ask.
hey,
I
yeah.
will ask. I'll definitely ask.
Anything else, Tim?
Nope.
No, sorry. It was just because I think
And
people.
there's the other thing that Tim brought up too is that with draining, and of course the treatment plant is also draining.
Into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're constantly
Yeah.
blowing
Yeah,
water.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
killing us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And especially with this event that's going to happen here in the next couple of days, it's going to be inundated. It's
Yes,
just going to
it
fill
is. Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
And
Well, you find out how ornery people get around here when they can't golf.
yeah,
It is, as of,
That's my wife.
like I said, I started into the golfing recently in the last few years and my boys and stuff, and it's like, man, we can't golf?
she actually crossed the bridge a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. That's a lot.
Went over to Rockledge.
All right. Well, segue to that, I guess. I'll hit mine and I'll go back to Laird again. I'm just going to throw this one on you. And again, the water kind of fills into this and how people are cranky about not being able to golf, and we see how it affects. This is another one, the golf etiquette thing, and again, what I brought up. You guys had the chance to look at that, I didn't know this, but Savannah's does a age 17 and younger discount after, I think it's 3 p.m. So they're part of what I see as a national trend of golfing at COVID started going back to players who hadn't played in a long time, started playing again. Players like me that had, only a few times in my life played, started playing. And then the youth side of it, we're starting to see a large jump in. And here in this part of this thing is another way for us to attract that youth side and bring it in. And I saw other courses now trying to attract that 17 and under in. And this is just one of those, again, this fits into my thought of one way to hit that and also hit that public safety and the use of the carts and all the other things that go with it that are in that idea they have. And again, Laird, I wouldn't say put it on you or the city to have to do, but maybe we do work with the school. We can go talk to Kevin and see what the golf course coaches or the golf coaches would like. I really think they would be on board with that, looking at doing that. But then we just have to endorse, at the same time, then we also have to make the decision to endorse the younger kids playing, and at what tolerance do we have them play, and that's this thing. But like, and I wouldn't have been able to have any kind of leverage on saying that until I find out Savannah's actually does a very healthy discount for 17 and under and that's, think about it, in the summer, hot of summer. You know, none of us want to play 3 in the afternoon, but 17 and under out there now, and they're playing the whole time, sweating like crazy, and they do get to drive the carts.
We have a youth discount here too.
No, I'm just, but I'm saying they were attracting them over there is what I'm seeing in the afternoon by endorsing having them come play and stuff. Not just that they have the discount. But
Well, something that maybe you don't realize is that both the men's or the boys and the girls golf team are growing quite a bit.
yeah, that's what, again, it's
I
that
mean,
national
so
trend.
That's
of,
right here. I mean, they're
Yep.
and then they've got some great players. Their coaches are awesome,
Yeah.
and it's coming around. It's good to see that much interest, from the high school kids.
Yeah, and-
young
and-
kids. I mean, we're getting 7th and 8th graders out there, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
but golf here is always good. Golf here in high school is always good.
Yeah.
Always good. Nobody always seems to produce a really decent golf team.
yeah, and it's not just the teams though that I'm getting. It's the golf and the youth in general. Like if you take my oldest son and all those guys that never played until they hit their after graduation, they
That's
were
because
like
they played football.
they were playing other sports, but they never thought of playing golf. But they would have come and played golf if they kind of had like this knowledge of the golf,
Right.
where instead of like, but I think it's that national trend that's going on with that age group saying, hey, we can do this too, and it's not for us, or it's not just for a golf player. It's good for a football player, basketball player, track, but I don't know if what you guys have anything more to say on that program or whatever. If anybody cares about it, anybody thinks about it, or
Well, I had mentioned to the city manager too, and her only comment to me was, we definitely don't want to implement anything until we have our survey completed.
Yeah.
Then we'll look at doing anything else after that.
When will that be?
okay, so the survey,
She is looking at stats right now,
okay.
so as soon as she gets back with us about stats.
Is it a one-phase survey? So when we all answered that survey, it went through, and you could tell it branched from, are you a tennis player, are you a golf player, are you a pool swimmer?
General survey, and now she's hitting specifics.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does that mean a follow-up part of the survey, like you'll get additional, will the survey come back and call or email you again and say, hey, I notice you're a golfer, are you gonna do this, or I notice you're a tennis court user, are you gonna do?
I'm not sure which direction, but I know she's gonna do a presentation when she has some answers. for
Okay,
us.
and that'll come to you directly in front of the city
It'll come to
manager?
the city manager, it'll come to commission, I'm sure she'll probably do something for each of boards too.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my other questions, where that survey goes and how it flows.
I might suggest she give us the presentation first. Just
I'll throw it out.
at least give her a trial run before going to the commission.
Okay.
We might have some more things that,
Alright.
so.
All right, I'm gonna skip one thing before we go to the procedures, because I don't think we have much else to talk to, but, just because we used it, I went out to someone's retirement party at the pavilion not too long ago, and it took, I don't know why I've never noticed this out there, but there's a volleyball court and a sand volleyball court at the pavilion.
Yeah.
How often does it get used?
Not often enough.
So, this goes to, are you in the pavilion? Pavilion under you?
No, but I'll take it if you want.
Who's got the pool pavilion and, do I forget? Is that you?
Sure.
I'm just off by one on who's, which is in our policies and procedures that we're talking about. The reason I ask is because we frequently have someone ask, can we put a bocce ball or shuffleboard court up? If that is unused and unpurposed there, think about the advantage of that. You've got the pool over there, you've got restrooms already, you've got shaded pavilion, and we convert that sand, that net, the net's barely there. I looked, there was kids out there that day, a lot of kids from the retirement party, and I didn't even see footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
The kids didn't go in that sand, they went over to the playset there, which is fine. So the playset still exists, everything else exists out there, and now you've got yourself two bocce balls, two shuffleboard courts, or what, I don't know the exact dimensions, but
People use the volleyball courts though.
that one,
I've seen it, absolutely.
the net,
Are they gonna use play bocce ball more than, I mean,
volleyball is on the beach. I'm just saying that was why I had to ask. I don't know a usage number, but it appears, like you said, very unused. It's
I
very,
don't know how you could get a number on that. I think
you
get a
can't.
number on that.
Well, because you would think you'd run it with, but you know, the kayaks come out there and do their kayaks up there. There's a lot of things going on out there. But if this makes that a usable more than it is, and we're looking for space, and it appeases to people, and we don't have to go searching for, because they're not that age group or that demographics that's going to use the bocce ball, and they're going to be there during the day. You know, they might come bring their picnic lunches. They might run to the 19th hole for lunch after they're done doing bocce ball or something in there. You know, the sand volleyball is going to tend to get used on the weekends. You know, maybe some kids running around. But again, I know there's a little park, but that little court, I looked at it and I'm like, it just looks not used.
Yeah.
It's there, you know, and it's set up nice and it's a big enough space, but it looks, is it one of those spots in town that we have that's not used that would satisfy that desire for that?
I think it's mostly there for rentals, when they rent the pavilion, but other than that, I don't think it's used that much.
Worth looking into maybe, or
Yeah,
a
yeah,
thought?
Yeah.
Just so we can at least put, I wouldn't have known that until I sat there during that retirement party.
Cape
night.
Canaveral seems to use theirs.
Definitely shuffleboards, very used. Yeah, and I'm not saying you have to put 30 of them out there or whatever, but they would give an option of one or two for the locals to go down there. All right, that's all I had there. That was my other thing. Everybody read the standard she sent, Andy sent the operating procedures, which is really just a repeat of what we did the first time around. One of the things I was concerned with, and you had already talked about with the city manager, that said it's legal. And the reason it's legal is the one sentence, the comma that says, 5 p.m. and when we need it. So that's, I think, by a major vote. So that one meeting last fall, everybody said, hey, it's okay to do 4 and it's okay to do every other month. So if the makeup of this board changed, they could have a vote and say, hey, we got to do it on this day, subject to when you guys can, when staff can handle a meeting too. But it's allowed. Those policies and procedures, though, should be somehow attached to us so that we can modify them as needed or wherever, but whoever comes on the board or off the board knows what we do as the board. And again, I say this because we're in election year where technically we have 3, is it 3 of us or 4?
3.
3 seats that are available. So there could be 3 new board members January. And I don't want to leave, if I left, I don't want to leave a big gap of people that have to come in and say, hey, how does this work? It'd be nice to give them that and say, here's what we do and how we do it. So I don't know if you guys like that, to adopt it again as our annual policies and procedures, or adopt it moving forward, or any changes on that.
So you're saying you think the only thing that needs to be adopted or recommended right now is the change we made in the time of the scheduling?
No, I don't. I mean, it would be up to the majority of us as the schedule at working. But that, I don't think that's the discussion we wanted to get into today. I wouldn't do that. The discussion here is just a general adoption of those policies and procedures, which we did at one point in time, but I think, forgive me, but I think in there it says annually we're supposed to look at that and do that. And even Lori said that at our last meeting. She said you really should have one, and you should, I believe, annually. Technically each board in the city has one. That's how we came up with ours. It was recommended that, hey, you should develop one or have it, so we have at least a standard way to operate. So, barring any big changes to that thing, we can approve it and then use it, and then it's at least sitting there and we can attach it. And there was supposed to be something, was Lori trying to help us out to make it more readily accessible? Because that's one thing it isn't. It's not, if it's buried in minutes, you got to go back and find the month you hit. It was like how I couldn't find it.
Right.
We had to go all the way back to the meeting minutes to find it. It was in a Word document in there, but can we attach it somehow to our website
Yeah, we can do that.
policies and procedures?
Yeah. Does every board have that
I think.
attached to their?
I'm not sure where they have
Oh,
it.
so I'm thinking out of the box for every other board now
I
too.
think that's a good idea, keeping it so it's
Every board should have
very
the
easy to
procedures
find.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right
will link to it, right?
Yeah, after I've had that much trouble. I mean, other boards have been so much longer established than this board. We're one of the newer.
True.
So it might be just everybody knows exactly what they're getting into. With those other boards, it's not as, and we're still evolving a little bit, like,
Yeah, it's
you
still
know.
needed, though.
Yeah.
Still needed.
I like the idea of attaching all of them. But anyway, if we could do that.
Yeah.
But I don't have any changes, significant or otherwise, that I would put on it, but I wouldn't mind entertain a motion to approve those.
We have 3 going off, or?
Possibility of 3.
It's possible. Right. Yeah, does everybody know who appointed them? Seems
Who's,
like a blur.
who's
We've been
on,
we've been
who's
on this-
staying on?
We've been
That'd
on,
be the
we've been
easiest
on this
question.
forever.
I'm Mike Miller, so
Commissioner
Mike.
Wilson.
Oh, so that's,
Those are the two that stayed.
Williams
The
was,
mayor,
Tom.
Skip is Tom.
But Skip is running again.
Okay.
Yep, Skip's running again.
Yeah.
So Tom and Matt for sure,
Ben appointed me.
You're Ben, you're Ed. Are you Ed?
probably Ed.
I think you're Ed.
yeah, Carolyn.
And you're Carolyn.
Yeah, so it'd be Melissa or Capizzi. Oh, me, actually.
Yeah.
I did.
Right now it's you.
It's me. I kept you on the,
Nominate yourself?
no, you,
Thanks.
no problem.
Thanks.
If anybody should be on this board, it's you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was your first statement.
So yeah, there's a shakeup
Yeah.
that could potentially occur. And I won't say anything about what we do or where, but I just want to be ready for the event that after fall elections we know. So
Yeah.
it's just a lot easier. Because I think we've come a long way from the day one when we started kind of running our meetings to where we're at now and what we've done. You know, I swear we move at a snail's pace sometimes, but that's just how politics work, and it takes time to get stuff done. That's not a staff thing or anything like that. And budgets, Laird's taught us a lot that, yeah, that'll go on 2 years from now, budget, because it has to. So, anyone?
You looking for a motion to just
Yep.
approve the overall?
To accept those as our minutes, or as our
Procedure?
official-
yep, as written.
I'll make that motion that we accept the Leisure Services Board standard operating procedures as.
I'll
presented.
second that one, John.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Public?
Whew.
Public.
Public comments? They don't even know we're down.
Nope.
People are looking for us at the other door. Laird?
New thing I got, budget was passed last week, so, right now we're in a lull as far as spending, but, as soon as it gets started, there's some stuff that needs to get done. We've had some capital projects that probably will start early October. One of them is, getting one more chiller for the, pool, for the heating and the chilling at the pool. The other one is, possibly the tennis courts at Barclay and Ramp Road, to redo those. That's hopefully, I think it went through.
And is that like the surface of them
Yes.
and the lights?
That's in there.
Okay.
We'll know for sure. We'll
Okay.
know for sure by the middle of this week. Yes. It's in there,
Yeah,
yes,
that's good.
yes.
Because I do get questions about Ramp Road in particular,
Yes.
that tennis
Yeah,
court with
definitely.
lighting, especially as we get fall now where
That's
it gets
something we're
darker.
definitely looking into, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
What's the other thing? The gym, one of the things that, I think we need to look at, that's in the budget for this year, is the tinting of the windows, get rid of the bags.
Bags.
Up top. That's another one of the things that, I'm gonna take care of. Is there anything else that's budget wise? Well, that's all part of the tennis courts. Tennis courts maybe possibly doing multi-purpose lines on the tennis courts.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so you could get the outdoor basketball capability. Thank you.
Yes.
And pickleball. Oh, yeah, do them all.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. Yes.
The courts are already lined for pickleball, aren't they?
I'm sorry,
Aren't the courts already lined for pickleball?
which ones?
Some of them, the tennis courts?
None of ours.
None of them are.
None of
Oh, I
ours.
thought they were.
No.
No,
Oh, the rec center is big on
Rec center
pickleball right
gym
now.
is, yes,
right,
yes.
but not the, and you're not, and USTA's got theirs marked for pickleball, don't they?
No, it's
They don't
marked for
either.
It's marked for junior tennis.
Oh, that's
That's
the
what it's
difference.
marked for.
Oh,
That's
okay.
It's
All
junior
right.
tennis, the inside lines, yes. Yep, I think that's it. That's
I
all
got, I'll go back, one quick one, there was Bicentennial Park. Wayne had said October, part of the budget, it was kind of combined with the budget, that'll come out that October, the first meeting in October, the commission will pass the,
Pass.
getting the engineering paid for Bicentennial Park?
Well, that is
That first
actually-
phase?
That's actually a grant.
That grant, but that
Yes.
comes with, the commission has to approve it still, right?
It's
I thought it
a
was at a
formality.
commission.
It's just a formality.
Sure.
Once you get the grant, yes.
Okay,
They're not
so-
gonna, they're not gonna turn money, hopefully they're not gonna turn money away.
Okay, that'll all happen in October, the first
I'm
week.
not sure the exact date.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the exact date. I can check on that.
But that didn't fall in our budget specific, so it's not, it falls
That's-
under the
that's
grant
what it
budget.
is. Yeah.
All right, so you guys will hear it at your commission meeting
Yes.
in a week or so.
Yeah, next week, possibly. But I think that's just happening. That's
Yes.
not something that we have
To approve or not approve.
It's just.
No, he sends out a request, he doesn't have, they don't have to come to us to ask, to send out a request for proposal or RFQs to,
I think it's just to let them know that this is what he has done.
yeah.
Okay.
That might be in the consent agenda or something.
Or maybe I'm just, was a while ago, maybe it was that it comes from someone else's approval on October
Yeah,
to get
where
the
he's
grant
getting
money.
it from. Yes.
Back on the budget, we kind of had an issue a couple weeks ago with ice, like the ice machines.
That's it, that's.
And we get those,
yes,
we got those
Yes.
fixed, good.
Yes, new machines are coming.
Yeah, oh,
Yes,
good.
Yes. Yes.
Because we go through a lot of ice.
Yes.
I mean,
Tell me about it.
we got all the jugs all around the course.
We
and-
have about 4 ice
and-
machines.
And do we have is there a policy or a process of changing those out? Do they have a mark in such a way that, and they rotate them
They are
and
rotating.
clean them
I know
out?
that,
and-
that's one thing he is doing. They are
Okay,
rotating them, yes.
good.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Because they get a lot of use and they get torn up and,
Yep.
you know,
Yep, definitely. That's all I've got.
okay.
All right, next meeting date, Andy.
When are we meeting next?
Would be November,
Can we talk about our schedule too?
let's see,
Hmm?
22nd,
That's
so
the-
right before Thanksgiving.
Really,
Before Thanksgiving. You guys gonna be good?
The 21st, I'm sorry, the 21st, no, 28th.
That's what I thought.
20th.
So it will be after,
So
that's
right
what
after.
It's the Monday after.
Man,
Monday
that's a
after.
tough day.
The
The
Monday
Monday
after?
after
Yes,
Thanksgiving will be the 4th.
that's what we're gonna talk about, yes.
All right.
Because that's the cleanup day.
Monday
for it.
after.
Monday after the art show?
Yes,
4 o'clock.
Alright,
Well, I mean,
it's a tough day.
is there availability to do the
That's
Monday before?
recovery day.
Is the Monday before okay?
I don't know.
I can check
We
the
can check it.
calendar.
I'd rather do the Monday before, but
I agree with
that's
that.
up to you, huh?
I agree with that.
And if, I mean, at least I can do almost any time during the day that we can fit it. If we had to go later, if we had to go earlier in the day, you guys, I think you could do
I'd rather
earlier.
do it the Monday
We
before.
can check
But I
that
mean,
out.
I'm talking about hour of the day if we had to have a hour for a meeting.
We can check, yeah, we can check.
You're talking about the 14th, the Monday before?
No, the 21st.
21st.
21st, that's right.
28th.
Look,
Well, the
Monday-
28th is the normal, would be a normal date, but if we're trying to move it to
Okay.
Maybe you have
avoid
the
that.
festival.
You could do the 21st, Tom?
Sure.
Tim?
Yeah.
I can do it, you prefer, so if it can be
Would you
available and it
rather-
works,
would
then you guys can
prefer
schedule
that,
it.
Tim?
What?
We have to
Monday
make sure there's
before?
nothing
Oh,
else.
yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm in on that too.
With everything in there yet.
Yeah, I'll be sore Monday.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on, everything has been switched here, we have to make sure that.
Yeah, that's, so,
Yeah.
at least you know we're in,
Okay.
and you guys are flexible an hour of the day if it had to go shift by an hour or something or whatever? Instead of
I
4,
prefer 4, but,
No, if we had to, yeah.
yeah,
So far, it looks empty so far.
okay.
all good.
And then notify us by email and then
Yes, I'll
put it,
notify you tomorrow,
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
okay?
alright,
Alright,
anything else, anyone?
And then December, we're not doing December, right?
We typically know, right?
That's
There's too many people.
No, it's
Oh, it's
between
Yeah,
It's what?
it's
Christmas and New Year's.
even, so it would be.
Oh yeah, we would be
January.
January anyway, so. Alright,
Okay?
That's it?
November it will be, at least we're after the election, we kinda have some more say on who's,
Yeah.
what, so.
Well, you kind of know, they don't
Well, you
make
know,
those
I mean,
decisions till January.
no, I know, but at least,
But talk to them.
yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.